What a lovely face to bring us into the action today, proper. As always, the after action report solid. We got the action last week, but it's going to bring us into week number 4 today. And you got the Canadians holding down the desk once again. Myself, Seymour, with me, Cruz, Jesse. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's not as snowy today as it was last week. No kind of worry about our power going out. We got a solid group of matches coming up today. I think we're going to be in for a really good one.
I had to look out my window for a second to see if there was snow there. No, it's a great day, like you said, Jesse. And I actually had a question for you as we're going into week number 4. Something I've never really asked you before. Do you have a cast ritual that you go for to get yourself pumped up for the streams?
Oh God, we blast music right in the green room, but outside of that. What was it that we did that one time? I think me and you were sitting there. We were just blasting Black Eyed Peas before we got into doing our cast. No crazy pregame ritual. You?
No. I just simple things like singing in the shower. Today, pumped up by breakfast demo by the AM. Shout out McCormill. Couldn't get enough of that while I was in the singing in the shower today. But that's enough of talking about you and I. We got a lot to talk about today because week number 4 is drawing us closer into the regular season. We have, 2 more weeks left of action, and that means not a lot of time for these teams to really determine how these community power rankings are going to situate themselves going into the playoffs. The LCQ, as we look at last week's power rankings. This week's power rankings, it looks like we get to see a little bit of a change up.
Yeah, a bit of a change up from last week, right? New Mexico State's moving up. You see Ottawa moving back up the list a little bit. SIUE moving down. I actually had them moving up in my list a little bit from last week. Personally, but this is the overall from the whole committee, right, of everybody who has kind of found their way inside of the top 25 here now. And you know what, you got a good top 25 here. I think our top 5 are pretty secure right now on where they're going to be, but I think it's everybody after the top 5 is really kind of fighting for positioning still.
We got a little bit of a glimpse of a first match, too, if you were paying attention at the top of the screen. James Madison going to be returning again, bumped up to 15th place. Going head-to-head with number 5, Mars Hill Esports, is going to be an interesting one because I'm sure James Madison are going to be looking to rise their stocks here in the power rankings with this matchup today. But another one thing that, catches my eye, Florida Gulf Coast up to 17, Jesse. Talk about really standout performance from one of the D2 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Florida Gulf Coast, I think we talked about it last week. They are pretty much our Cinderella story of last year that we had with St. Clair. You can see is now our number 7 ranked team with, just one change from last year's roster over to this year's roster. And then you got Florida Gulf Coast, who really does look like our dark horse in Division 2, right? They probably should be a Div 1 school. They unfortunately, you make a few mistakes early season and you don't find yourself in Division 1, but still a very good school nonetheless. And you know what? People might be asking themselves, Colin, as well with JMU, why are these guys number 15 right now? And the reason is JMU has not gone up against the other 2 teams in the top of their division yet. They're 7-0 right now. They look very, very good. But now comes the real test. You go up against Mars Hill. That's going to be our first match of the day here. 5-0. Mars Hill coming off a spring break from last week. They didn't get really a big chance to play their matches last week, so that's why they've only got 5 games played versus the 7 on the side of JMU. But, Mars Hill, another very good team. We see them inside of our top 5, and I think that this match is going to tell a lot of stories. If JMU can come out and play really, really well here today, Colin, I think that's going to tell us a lot, and this team is going to shoot up our leaderboard.
We got 2 undefeated teams in the Southeast. The biggest test of strength either 2 of these have seen just yet. One's got to lose at the end of the day. So let's introduce our first team of the day, Mars Hill Esports. I haven't gotten a chance to really look at this team, Jesse, from my own point of view. But, talk about a team that has really impressed me coming into College COD this year. They find themselves number 5 in the power rankings. You got Slaypex, AG, Mazzo, and Kalen. It's just a team of demons that are looking to prove people wrong. And, they've already proved them wrong. A lot of people have them locked in for the LAN already at the end of the season, but we still have to go through some of their best tests, which is one of them today, James Madison.
Yeah, absolutely, right? They still have James Madison. They've still got UONA coming up as well throughout the roster. It's funny because our top 3 teams haven't had that chance to play each other yet, but they will soon enough, and this is really the first of the heavy hitters here in the Southeast Division really getting to go up against each other. I'm really excited to see it, but if you're looking at this roster, Colin, I think one name that really stands out to me is Slaypex. I feel like we've seen Slaypex in a number of different tourneys, a number of different times, and he's just a very, very, very good player, and I'm really excited to get a good chance to watch him here in CCL.
Yeah, as am I. And, on the other side, opponents to Mars Hill today, another undefeated team from the Southeast. I'd say a true monster in this division, a dark horse in the region. James Madison University. No one had it in their cards, for them to round out the top echelon of this division, but here they are. And now facing up against Mars Hill this week, the Dragons soon to come. Can this be the team to make the upsets we weren't expecting?
Yeah, and we saw James Madison on stream last week, right, against Mox, another very good team within this division. And we thought, hey, you know what? Mox is going to be a good first test for these guys. If they can come out, they can beat up against Mox and kind of walk away with the victory there. That's going to be a good sign of things to come. Well, they came out with a 3-1 victory and a fairly easy 3-1 victory. Outside of the 6-5 Search and Destroy loss last week, they had a very solid week for themselves. A 250 to 177, a 3-1, and a 250 win as well inside of the hard point. Just solid games all around from this James Madison University team. And honestly, I am really, really excited to see them come up here and go up against a team like Mars Hill.
Yeah, and, last week might not have been the best showing from this team, but I can imagine they're ready to bounce back right away. I can only imagine what we're going to get out of James Madison going up against Mars Hill. So let's take a look at how these two fare against each other, because undefeated records, but map count's a little bit different, Jesse, because James Madison, they've had their fair share of Game 5s, and Mars Hill have yet to go to a Game 4.
Yeah, Mars Hill, dominant, right? I think it's dominant to say the least, and that's how they've looked here so far throughout the season. 4-0 all the way across the board. A lot of their success, though, here from the likes of Mars Hill has come from Fortress. And so a little sneak peek at our maps and modes. We're only seeing one Fortress today. So 9 of their 12 wins have come on Fortress. So that's something that we do need to keep our eyes on. But yeah, on the other side of the board, you got a few losses from JMU, but you have a whole lot more matches played when it comes to in-game matches. And that level of experience can definitely lead you to a good amount of success here against Mars Hills, I think.
And hopefully it's enough to, triumph against a team like this, because it's not going to be an easy test whatsoever for James Madison University. Let's take a look at the maps for this series, Jesse, because you talked about that Fortress. It's going to be our map number 1. But when you're looking at the rest of the best of 5, what do we have? We got an LSCLO Search and Destroy, Hotel Control, Hydro Hardpoint, and a Hotel Search and Destroy to round this out if it goes the distance, which if I know James Madison, they're ready to go all the way. Yeah,
for sure. James Madison, they definitely have the experience, right, of going all the way a few times this year throughout the year. Now, that map number 1, I definitely would give the favor to the side of Mars Hill, but that map number 4, James Madison, 4-0 on Hydro Hardpoint. Wow. So if we can get to that Hydro, expect them to be dominant on that map mode combination. If you ain't swimming, you ain't winning. And this just looks like a really fun map and modes. We've got, 4 different maps? You only play Hotel twice? This is what we live for, Colin.
Yeah, I like Hotel. I don't know about you, but I really like Hotel. I think it's
map in the game.
I think it's probably my favorite control map mode combo out of any of the maps that we have for that game mode, and the fact that we get to see it not only in our Game 3, but our Game 5 as well, I'm excited. I'm really excited. The one thing that, we have in our keys to victory for James Madison, because we wrote out a lot more keys to victory for them rather than Mars Hill, who are probably looking to just play their game and play as they've usually played throughout the weeks in CCL. But for James Madison, I think the series will work off of the performance in the head-to-head between AG and Mazzo versus Kelp and Poker on either side. If Kelp and Poker can start heating up, shut down these Mars Hills players, that is where we're going to be seeing James Madison really find their strength in this best of 5.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, like you said, Kelp and Poker, last week played very well. Enough to get them to win, right? T-Web and Prey were really the main standout stars. And you know what? As much as I agree with you that you're going to need the help from Poker and Kelp, I still think you're going to need T-Web and Prey to be stepping it up to even that next level going up against a team like Mars Hill. The 4 players on Mars Hill play really, really well together. This team, like we said, Colin, they went on March break last week. They came back from March break yesterday. They wanted to get some practice in, so they played another college tournament. Often, they went and they did their thing. They were playing it for practice. They won the damn thing last week. So they are a very, very good team. It's going to be tough to beat them here today. But I think if anybody has an opportunity to do it, it is the Dark Horse of the Southeast Division.
You just say March break? I just had like an existential crisis.
That's a Canadian thing. My bad.
I just had like an existential crisis. Like, oh my God, we're already in March. 2023 it's flying by, Jesse. Yeah, and I think we can really thank a lot of Call of Duty, a lot of good Call of Duty this year to thank for that one. I mean, the action has been hot, and I can't imagine that it's going to slow down anything more. But I like that you're saying, T-Web and Prey. I was more so kind of pointing to this team as we know what we're going to get out of those two. It's the supporting cast that needs to help them out. So for James Madison, I totally agree with you. We're going to have to see all 4 players firing on all cylinders if we're going to be able to see an upset today versus Mars Hill University. Where at the same time, you look at Mars Hill, and if they want to continue with an undefeated streak in map count, Jesse, I feel like that's why I highlighted AG and Kalen, because this isn't set in stone. It's not solidified. There is a chance to lose today to James Madison if you overestimate the Bulldogs, but you really need to start seeing all 4 players come together, and I think that's just the key to both of these teams today.
Yeah, it absolutely is, right? They just need to kind of slow down their pacing here today if you're JMU, really kind of find what Mars Hill is doing quickly and like really kind of counteract it, right? Like you just need to play your game. Don't let Mars Hill play their game. Otherwise, that's when you are going to start to run into trouble. And then the complete opposite, right? If you're Mars Hill, you want to just try to run through the likes of JMU as fast as possible. You want to knock the wind out from underneath them. You want to just kind of come through, kick them down, kick them early and keep them down. That's really what you're trying to do if you're Mars Hill, and just kind of roll through JMU if you're here today. And it's not going to be easy by any means, but I think that Mars Hill definitely has an opportunity to still come out here and still 3-0 this series just as good as JMU is. I think it's just really going to matter what we get from JMU here today, because I think we already know what we're going to get from Mars Hill.
Just a little bit of a boxing match. That's what I'm looking forward to. Just pound for pound, a good old-fashioned roundhouse Call of Duty match all the way to a Game 5, Jesse. That's what I want to see today. That's what I want to get out of these two teams. Well, while we're getting ready for our map number 1, I do want to thank our presenting sponsor for College God, America's Navy, because this couldn't have been done without them. Don't forget that the Navy offers $180,000 ROTC scholarships, which pay full college tuition for students with exceptional academic skills and leadership credentials. So if you're looking for post-secondary options, if you're looking for a place to go, check out America's Navy. There's plenty of career fields, leading edge career fields inside of the America's Navy that you can check out. So if you go to navy.com, you can see if this is the fit for you. Big shout out to America's Navy for helping us put this on. Always love to see the support from that side, Jesse. But I do have to ask you right away, do you see this, as JMU, do you see them having a chance today?
I see them having a chance. It's so funny, right? Because I can see this series going 2 completely different ways. I think it really depends on what JMU we're going to get here today. Like we kind of elated on earlier, it's like this is JMU's first massive test, right? You're going up against one of the top 5 schools here, and we're either going to get a super close match and JMU's going to assert themselves as another potential top 5 school, or we're going to just get another slugfest from Mars Hill. I don't think it's going to be one way or the other. And I really, really hope it's the earlier of the two, and we're going to see a slugfest between 2 teams. I really do. But if you're asking me if I think that JMU has a chance, I absolutely do. They're 7-0. They have a ton of experience playing together now. They've played almost all of their matches throughout so far. I mean, 7-0, like we said. And if this team can come out and they can come and bring the fire that they brought through their first 6 matches here, I think that this team is going to come out and be really, really efficient against this Mars Hill roster. Now, if they come out and they come out flat, I think starting down in this series could be a very, very big detrimental hit to them, just the confidence in itself. So I think that this team needs to come out, and they need to come out fast, but it's going to be very hard to do so on that Fortress control, or that Fortress hardpoint, I should say.
I 100% agree with you in this matchup. I think when you're looking at James Madison, the Bulldogs, the sky's the limit right now for this team. They've already accomplished so much in this season that we didn't get to see from them in the previous seasons here in College COD, and I mean, it's just exceptional to see how this team has grown. Mars Hill University on the other side. I mean, this is probably a demon team. When you look at, who they face, how they face them, and how comfortable they've looked so far in College COD, there's no doubt why people have them at the top of their list for this division, why they have them in the number 5th spot, right alongside the University of North America, is because this is a team who you probably don't want to meet up early on in the season. You want to have as much experience as you can going into this match, which James Madison luckily do. Because realistically, this is a team that if you give them an inch, they will take a mile, Jesse.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest here as well, though, with this Mars Hill team. Yes, very good, but also this is really their first big test as well of the season. They haven't played any really massive names within their division. Yes, maybe outside of the CCL, we've seen them go up against some other teams and have some good results. But I think inside of College COD, this is probably their first really big chance to kind of assert themselves and be like, hey, look, we are top 5. We are as good as everybody says we are. And this is our chance to prove it right now. And I think that's going to be really exciting to see, because I think this team is really good. I mean, we know who's running the team over there in Megatron. He is a fantastic player, an alumni of College COD himself, and he knows what it takes to put a winning team together, and that's why everybody has this team rated so highly. That plus, you know, like I said, results from other leagues outside of the College COD. So, I mean, very, very good team, and I call it, it's going to be very tough to see anybody come out and beat them, but you never know. You really never know.
No, you really don't. I personally, a lot of respect for Megatron and what he does. I met him in a ranked play game a couple weeks ago alongside some other CCL staff members, and I got smoked. So all respect over there at Mars Hill. They're in good hands on that side. But I think it's time to cut the chit-chat, Jesse. It seems like we're ready to get into this map number 1, Fortress Hardpoint. I mean, not an easy way to start off this series if you are James Madison. Surprised to see Fortress come into the lineup at all throughout this best of 5. I don't know why it wasn't an auto veto for them, but they're going to be here, and if they could take this map off of Mars Hill, I mean, that is an amazing start to the series for JMU.
It's actually really funny too, Colin, because when we were looking at the maps and mode, something I didn't even bring up is that Mars Hill, or that Fortress itself, didn't even get vetoed out at all, right? So Mars Hill choosing not to play Fortress for all their picks here today. I guess they want to get some reps on some other maps, right? So very interesting to see that come through. But yes, this really has been the Mars Hill bread and butter off the rip here so far. And you know what? We'll just have to see what JMU can do here. So far, so good off the start of the game. You know, you put a little bit of pressure on the hill, but Mars Hill will be the first team here inside of P1.
Yeah, easy wipe there from Kalen, as AG is now going to slip into the Fortress. Make sure nobody's able to cross P2 unscathed. T-Web, what a win on the rotations. That's going to pull some of these Mars Hill members off of that P1. See if they can anchor down these spawns at the back end. They will. They clear out T-Web. They're going to have the back end on lock. But at the meantime, I mean, you look at those yellow arrows for James Madison. They're kind of struggling right now to get any semblance of control. Trapped on the inside, although that's a big win there from Poker to open it up over to P2.
Yeah, those are big wins across the middle of the map. Look, you're actually going to spawn 2 of the Mars Hill players out, and they actually read the spawns as well. Player number 3 in the middle of the map will find a few of those players in the middle, so able to get a couple kills. You know what? You need to be able to figure out that you have Mazzo in the back here, but if you can find Mazzo, and no, Mazzo slips right through the line. They get in a perfect break here from Mars Hill from the front. Definitely didn't think we were going to see that there with the setup we saw from JMU, but I think you're just seeing how good Mars Hill is right off the rip of this game.
Yeah, they break back in, only giving up 14 points. Prey on screen, trying to find a way in, but all angles, all routes are locked down right now by Mars Hill Esports. They lose a couple members, still went out on the internal gunfights. They lock it down for the rest of the scrap time, and now it's going to be a race over to P3, which, surprise, Kalen's already here. Gates watched by 2. AG going to have a wingman here, and AG is going to be able to work his way onto the box, find Poker, snap over to the next, reading these players like a book at the moment. Just a little bit of a misstep with that last one. Kelp may have just saved the day.
Yeah, you were in that dangerous territory where this game could get really, really out of hand there if Kelp doesn't pop that kill on rotation there. But you know what? They find the kill. They get set up here early for P3, the Fountain Hill. You do unfortunately lose one player who will very likely spawn out here in this situation. No, actually, spawns in on the team. So that's big. Now they just need to hold down all the choke points.
T-Web can't get into the hill just yet. Nice shots there from AG. Won't be able to get 3 in a row. Has backup. Mazzo, can he get into the hill? No. Kelp making this one a little bit of a struggle fest from Mars Hill, but I'm sure that Mars Hill Esports, they're okay at least making sure that JMU get no time on this hill. There's 26 seconds, and it looks like JMU, they've only been able to get 10 in the meantime. A cruise missile is going to be dropped, making sure that James Madison are not going to be able to crawl back to an even game. And now this is the danger zone, Jesse. The spawn trap's going to be laid down Fortunately enough for James Madison, they have 2 players working towards the fortress.
Yeah, Prey and Poker both actually slip their way through the line, so they can get right into the back line here of Mars Hill. Maybe even disrupt their players who are sitting up top rails right now, get in and be annoying inside of this hill. Kelp will be the first player to touch inside. Unfortunately, will end up falling, but really, the rest of the kill is all going to fall the way of JMU off the rip here, and it's just Mazzo who needs to try to stay alive here in the back line. A beautiful gunfight win through the top side there, but yeah, still not good enough. They're still going to be early time here going to JMU.
Yeah, this is a good moment right now from James Madison. The Bulldogs, they flip the script on rotation. They do get that scrap time back at P3, so relatively even are both of these teams after 4 hills. 31 seconds that you do not want to give up to James Madison at all. Trophy system going to be laid down by T-Web, watching over his team like a hawk. You see those blue arrows ready to pounce. They collapse. It's a 1-for-1 trade until T-Web splits the odds. Gonna hop in with Prey, and Prey's just playing that front line right now. Gonna find a kill into AG. Back them up a little bit more. T-Web can't find the shots to win out inside. And that is gonna open up an opportunity for Mars Hill to grab the last 5 seconds.
Yeah, but I mean, the last 5 seconds, but you look across the map, and again, it's going to be JMU, the first team over to Blacksmith, set up and ready to go. Trying to just lock down a good chunk of time over here. But unfortunately, you know what? You're going to lose out on a few of your players. Now everybody's going to have to be coming through from the back line. And now, Colin, this is where that spawn trap can really get engaged. You can run into a lot of problems here. This could be a full 60 for Mars Hill from the front of the hill.
Yeah, but they're not finding the kills. They're not helping Slaypex at all on the inside. So Mars Hill going to be cleared out right away. Full break from James Madison. Still holding on to this lead they gained in P4. And look at player number 1, Prey. He's already playing the late game. Rotating up to top single, making sure you get in behind. Make it so hard for Mars Hill to get eyes into this hill. And they are scattered, Jesse. They have no idea where to look. Prey's everywhere, but nowhere at the same time. Prey on 4 in a row. Finally going to get shut down, but a huge moment from James Madison to cement their lead.
A massive moment. Unfortunately for them, though, Mars Hill will get in for the last 10 seconds or so of this final hill. So it's actually going to be right around a tie game. As we come to the end of the first set of rotations, we could be at exactly a tie here. No, they don't get the tick. So it's very, very close games so far. 2 minutes already taken off that game clock as well. Haven't seen too many games go to the clock here so far, but I mean, so far through this one, both these teams playing very tight and a lot of contested time.
Oh, Kalen off the team. Nate finds 2. A little bit of heroics there for Mars Hill to get the rotation. Contention on the inside. It's T-Web. Of course it is, being a nuisance. Things back and forth. A little bit scrappy in the hill, but that's exactly how Mars Hill like to make it happen. Kelp going to stay alive with a little bit of help from Prey. And you look at the mini-map, they flip it out. So Mars Hill in the better side for rotation to P2. And they're going to be able to clear out this hill and make sure that James Madison not getting too much time here in this P1 setup. 16 seconds to gain a lead for JMU. A little bit of wiggle room rotating over to P2, and Kelp looks like he wants to make a play.
And I mean, already a better first hill here from JMU than what we saw in the last set of rotations, right? It was really, what, hills 3 and 4 that brought JMU back into this game. Mars Hill really did dominate the early portions of P1 and P2, but this time, very different story written here. JMU off to a good start and off to a very, very good... As soon as they've gotten their feet planted throughout this map, It feels like they have just kind of taken over here for Mars Hill.
Yeah, and a big player that we highlighted, Slaypex, 14 and 15, -1 right now inside of those kill deaths, but very surprised to see that, as he has been an anchor for the success of Mars Hill in the past. Kind of even across the board for slaying on both teams, but I mean, James Madison, where they have been dominating in this game, Jesse, is in the rotation battle. So you look at player number 4, it's a little bit of a 1v1 against Kalen in the back, and Kalen's going to win that out against Poker. And finally, we get to see Mars Hill rotating early to P3.
Yeah, they're rotating early, but there's still 10 seconds left on this hill, so they have to make sure they don't get killed here on this rotation. If you lose any of these gunfights, you're going to spawn out at old, and you can see that's exactly where player number 8, Slaypex, just spawned out at. These kills are going to be so important and so influential on the map to where these players are going to spawn out for the next hill. Kelp, unfortunately, can't win that gunfight out, and actually, we're going to get north hill spawns all through middle of the map here.
Kelp almost gets away with literal murder in the back line. Now it's still going to be all up to Poker, but Mazzo's going to clear out the rest. T-Web the next up to bat, but, I mean, Mazzo's on a tear. 5 in a row. One more is going to get another cruise missile for Mars Hill for Fortress. I mean, that could be impactful for the late game, and he's going to get on 7 with both players lining up. Hops right into the hill, finally shut down by T-Web. 114 to 141, and you can see that Mars Hill finally get broken over towards P3. So you give up the scrap time, JMU hold on to their lead, but it looks like Mars Hill, they really want this P4.
I'm really interested to see what Mars Hill does here because of how dominant JMU was on this P4 hill the last time through. You can see a 40-second lead here now for JMU Esports. Looking very good in the back. It's just Kalen, though, who's going to try to shut things down. They don't want to allow them to get that solid setup in place again, and they do not. Mars Hill with a fantastic rotation. They're going to find all 4 players on the rotation, shut everybody down, and now we get to see how the P3 hill, or sorry, the P4 hill here for Mars Hill looks.
Oh, Price finding the opening around the back. They're going to get control of top rails. All they have to do is take control versus Kalen here. Seems like a lot of these gunfights are going to be funneled in through the internal portion of the map, and yeah, Prey's going to clear out Slaypex from soaking up that hill time, so all you have to do is focus on the kills up top if you're JMU. Prey's working an angle. Routman not getting paid just yet. Mazo with the shutdown, and that allows Slaypex back in for time.
And I know we've been kind of hitting on the fact that Slaypex is struggling a little bit here in the game, you know, just barely going positive at the moment. I think when you called him out, he was going negative. I think that's got a lot to do with Prey right now. 29 and 20, playing very, very well in that submachine gun role directly across from Slaypex, who runs the same role on the side of Mars Hill. Doing a really good job of just combating the player, shutting them down, not allowing the likes of Slaypex to really get hot here. And I mean, if they can continue to find that, it's going to be fantastic, but that's going to be a player where it's going to be hard to shut them down throughout the whole course of the game. Heading in towards the later half of this second rotation and then into the third set, he's going to be a player who we need to look to see maybe even start to really get hot here.
An influential head-to-head. Slaypex versus Prey. He's going to win it out this time. Reads the player rotating through top maps. Kelp's going to stay alive for now. Back Anvil, and even finds a second one onto Kalen, so making it difficult for Mars Hill to get into this Anvil Hill as they keep going back and forth. 166 to 168. An even game as we're looking to set up for a third set of rotations, Jesse. It's something that I haven't really talked about in Modern Warfare 2, or had to. There's only a minute 27 left in this game.
Yeah, that's what I was saying at the end of the second set, or at the end of our first set. It felt like I was like, oh, we have like barely any game clock left. Don't normally see this, but a lot of contention from these two teams.
Yeah, and if this goes down to time and JMU are playing these rotations like they did in that first half, it might get a little bit scary for Mars Hill in this hard point, but into the third rotation, and Mars Hill have flipped the script. They take back their lead by 20.
Oh, and Kelp spotted this player out in the back. Gonna need to win a big gunfight, but oh, the perfect read there from Mazo to be able to find the kills in the back. Early time here going to Mars Hill, and they have a really good setup, actually. They're spawning all of the players on JMU up towards that fountain side of the map, so they're either gonna have to go out through gate or push out through the top side of the map, and it looks like we're gonna get a 4-hit through gate, and everybody's gonna fall.
And as, you know, Mars Hill start to heat up, Jesse, you got a cruise missile for Mazo, a cruise missile for AG, and you're getting all the time here on P1 from Slaypex, 4 in a row, looking for number 5, a little bit of help from Mazo, and you're going to stay pretty inside of this hill as long as you want. For Mars Hill, it's the end game now. Only 30 seconds left for map number 1 to be in your favor. Rotation's going to be in your hand. You have P1 for Slaypex on 5 in a row. Cruise missiles for Mazo is going to be called in right away to make sure you can disrupt this rotation, and you take out the key player, Prey.
And what's great about that is you're actually going to get the read from that cruise missile as well. Going to tell you where all these players are coming from now. So now if you're Mars Hill, you can set up in the hill. Only 7 seconds left to win.
You gotta get in. Hey, G playing spoiler. 3 go down. 3 seconds left, and it doesn't seem like anybody can touch this hill. T-Web gonna try his best, but Mars Hill get the better of JMU, and they start off strong in the series, continuing their flawless streak on Fortress.
Fantastic map there between both teams. Absolutely loved every second of that. But really, that third set of rotations, we finally seen the monster himself, Slaypex, come alive inside of the game. Negative for a lot of that game. Ends up finishing 29 and 26, but that 3 spree they went on, that 4 spree, whatever that ended up finishing off at, honestly ends up winning them the game there. You've killed those 3 players pushing through gate. That 3-piece really slows down JMU, keeps them pinned in the back of Fountain Spawn, and it's very tough to get out of that spawn, let alone to go to P1, but to P2 itself as well. A perfect setup of hills for Mars Hill, and we finally seen them at their full dominance there with that perfect setup and rotation from P1 to T2 in the last set.
For a moment, Jesse, I was a believer. I had the copium, James Madison, flowing through my veins. I thought they were going to get it done. I thought they were going to upset Mars Hill on their best map mode combo, or in the best map of their record. Fortress, though, stays perfect. That's 4-0 on Hardpoint now for Mars Hill University. for Fortress control alone. And that is incredible stats to be talking about. We get to look back at their highlights throughout that one. And yeah, I like how you said Slapex was big, impactful factor for the end game there. He goes on that 5 spree in P1, but I got to give my flowers where they're due. And Mazo and AG were incredible in this map. I mean
Kalen
a little slow to... Kalen, too, on those rotations, winning a lot of influential 1v1s right here. That double kill back at P1, making sure Marcel weren't giving up that time. But AG and Mazo, the consistency we saw from them throughout this whole map, it's the reason why Mars Hill won. It's the reason why Slapex had that opportunity to heat back up.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, Slapex, like you said, really slow start. But the other 3 players really made up for the slow start, kept them in the game long enough that Mars Hill, once Slapex started to pick it up and they were firing on all full cylinders, that's when you started to see this team really looking at their absolute best here. But I will say, we got to also give our flowers to JMU and how well they played throughout that map 1.
Oh, yes.
They played 2 very, very good sets of rotations against the likes of Mars Hill. Just unfortunately not able to get it done through all 3. But honestly, though, that gives me a lot of hope. And honestly, it really makes me positive for this team. Even losing a map like that to the likes of Mars Hill shoots them up my leaderboard for me inside of this top 10. I know they're 7-0. I know there's a lot of questions because they haven't played any top teams yet, but James Madison University, they're the real deal. I mean, if they have a better third set there, they very easily could have won this game against Mars Hill. Just Mars Hill clutched up at the very end. I know it looks almost like a 100-point game at the end there, Colin, but that game much, much closer than the scoreboard shows.
Exactly. I will say, though, however, I mean, there's a reason why we said for James Madison, if you want to beat Mars Hill, you need all 4 players to be working in unison. And Kelp and Poker, 1939, 17 and 34. A lot of interactions just not going your way in that second set of, or in that third set of hard points, like you said, Jesse. And you know, you go to that hotel control later down the line, back to a respawn, and you're going to need those 2 players doing a little bit better. You know, like I said, a lot of this series is going to come down to Kelp and Poker versus AG and Mazo. And in map number 1, AG and Mazo were incredible for Mars Hill. So 250 to 169 in Fortress Hardpoint. You go to El Asilo up next if you're JMU, and this seems like a must-win map.
It really does, right? And the good thing here for James Madison University, this is a map and a mode combination where they're 2-0 on, right? So they felt really good on El Asilo control. They get it to come up here. It's fantastic for them. And actually not a map that Mars Hill has been able to see anything on yet because they played 3 Search and Destroy so far on the likes of Fortress Search and Destroy. So they don't get it to come through here. They get to go to an El Asilo. I'm excited to see Mars Hill on a different map outside of Fortress. It'll be exciting to see here. But now James Madison needs to use their experience that they have on this map mode combination to their advantage. I think where James Madison probably ends up winning this series at is going to be in the game 2, the game 4, and the game 5. I don't see them winning that map number 3 hotel control, just personally from what I've seen from their stats so far on that map mode combination. And going up against a very good team in Mars Hill, I think it's going to be a tough one to win. So I think this, like you said, is a must-win map. That Hydro, they're 4-0 on, looking really, really good on that map mode combination. And then Search and Destroy, a Game 5 S&D, who knows where that one goes. I mean, the tournament that we saw yesterday, Slapex 1v4'd in round 11 in Game 5 to win the whole tournament in that college tournament yesterday.
I was just about to say.
So, I mean, Mars Hill, you can't sleep on them in Search and Destroy. But I think if JMU is going to take this, it's going to have to be now going all the way through maps 2, 4, and 5.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, you're right. I mean, on record for College COD, James Madison, they have the favor in El Asilo right now, but that doesn't mean that this Mars Hill University team are strangers to this map whatsoever.
For sure.
I saw that clip on Twitter from Slapex. 1v4 round 11 to win the tournament. There's a reason why they're going to this map for map 2, I'm sure, and they're ready to get their reps. I mean, one thing that we talked about at the start of the show is that Mars Hill, they're going into probably their toughest lineup of matches towards the end of this season, and they still need to play the University of North America. Now, I'm not overlooking JMU just yet, but I'm sure that Mars Hill want to start getting reps on these maps, so it's no surprise to me that we are seeing them deviate from Fortress.
Yeah, right, and that's kind of what I was alluding at, because this is no team to slouch on, but this is a good team where I mean, even if you're coming into this expecting to win, if you're Mars Hill, this is a good team to get good reps against right now. This JMU team is a very good team, right? And you're going to get good reps against the likes of them here inside of this game. And wow, right off the rip, sniper in the hand of T-Web, unfortunately going to fall in a very fast round. Trades going down back and forth like crazy here. Kelp, trying to get the knife, couldn't get it down. We're going to have a very fast 1v1 here.
There's no way Kalen gets away with this one. Kelp is kicking himself right now that happens, and Kalen's going to hear the rotation from Poker all the way out towards Courtyard. So down to a 1v1 for our opening round here in the search and destroy. Kalen going to recover that bomb, and the A site is open. Should know that, but what he doesn't know, where the heck is Poker? And Poker might actually get the best timing right now. Kalen's going to pop that Deddy. Rotate all the way through lockers. I said that Poker might get some good timing, but here comes Kalen up the stairs, and Poker might have the read. But Kalen's going to win that fight.
Oh, it's just a fight that Poker needs to win for his team there. I mean, you would love to start 1-0 against the likes of Mars Hill, but no, you just need to. You got first shot off and everything. Kalen just walks away with the gunfight victory in that exact moment. That 9K up close, Colin, it is a dangerous, dangerous beast. I don't mean you've been playing a lot of ranked play as of recently, and let me tell you, man, I love shooting that tack at range, but holy, man, when you can get that 9K up close, that gun fries like nothing I've ever played with in Call of Duty, and it is a good time to play with.
I want to agree with you, Jesse, but there is no reason why Kelp shouldn't have traded Kalen there. Running at him with a knife.
The original trade for sure.
Running at him with a knife in round number 1, I mean, that might just come back to bite you. If you're James Madison, we're actually getting a quick plant over to B in round 2, so this is interesting. Kelp will get traded off the bomb, but with that bomb down, post plant in lockdown right now for James Madison, and it looks like Mars Hill, they know that. They're ready to get T-Web out of this building.
Oh, AG going to get tagged up heavily, though. Needs to back up. Try to stay alive. Slapex is going to run right through field. Unfortunately, going to drop as well. And you're not in a great spot for the retake here now if you're Mars Hill. Only one player left, and unfortunately, you end up falling. Prey needs to go and just get the players off bomb. Can't find anything, and just with the smallest amount of time left, they'll get the defuse. Kalen should be able to grab this no problem here, and on 5 in a row, looking for streaks as well right off the rip here is Kalen.
Think about it, Jesse. Round 1, you don't knife Kalen. You finish that kill. He's not on a 5 spree right now, and he is on pace for a cruise missile in the first 3 rounds.
You get it done with everything too, right? I mean, we've seen what a Vaznev kill, a sniper kill, a pistol kill coming through now, really doing everything that they need to do to find success here right now for this roster on Mars Hill. We'll see if they choose to keep the sniper out here, and it looks like exactly what we'll see heading into this round. We'll have to stay on board with them, see if they can find this 5 streak right off the rip, and see where they, let's see where they want to play off this. It looks like they're going to choose to go up top green, see if they can maybe just find a positioning here, pick the player off at the back who's watching over B, and T-Web sees the sniper and immediately says, nope, I am not taking any part in this.
Oh, cheeky angle, though, from T-Web. It looks like he wants to take the high ground on that one, but he's going to see the glint yet again. He hears that his team needs him, and the bat signal is going to be thrown up into the sky, and here comes T-Web to hopefully save the day. Only thing is, no information on the inside of that A site, and as soon as he jumps in, Mars Hill just able to trade this out. Kalen has no interactions throughout that round, but that's where your subs come into play. And on El Asilo, when your subs are on fire, it's going to be hard to win out these battles inside of that A site. So big round there from Mars Hill. That's 3 unanswered rounds.
Yeah, it is. And that's really bad timing from T-Web there, too. Unfortunately, 1 second earlier, you get that player on the cross, and it's a 1v1 with bomb down. And you've got Kalen, who's the last player running around with just a sniper, right? So maybe a chance to win that round out there, but unfortunately not able to walk away with it. Prey, I think they need the Prey that we saw inside of map number 1 as well. We need Prey to be dropping really, really high kills here in this game, because we've seen throughout this one so far, Poker and Kelp not fully getting it done, and that's a great first blood there from Prey. Although going to run right across, very high chance of getting traded here, but will sneak through.
It's without dead silence. They know exactly that he's up here. Prey just trying to finesse it. He does. Big kill there. Number 3 in a row. 2 versus 3 for James Madison's favor, and looks like everybody's going to be on the hunt for Prey. It's a big win off screen from Poker. It's going to leave Kalen all alone, who did get that precision airstrike. Not a cruise missile, by the way. He's going to get cleaned up at the end of the round. James Madison are going to put their first round on the board, but streaks in the hand of Kalen might be something to look forward to if you're a Mars Hill fan throughout this search and destroy.
It's funny too because I saw the precision in his hands in map number 1 as well, and very curious because I'm pretty sure that we don't use that streak, so I'm not sure if we'll see that one.
It's not
end
GA'd.
up getting called through. It's not GA'd?
I'm pretty sure it's not GA'd.
All right, well, we'll just
It's
have to
the
wait
cruise
to see.
missile's a little bit better. I think the precision airstrike actually doesn't get blocked by trophy systems either, so it's just something to think about. I might be wrong. It might be GA'd, and I might just be talking nonsense, but I don't think it is. Prey here in 1v1, looking for 5 in a row, so Prey on pace for streaks too. Gonna be flushed out by that nade, down to 28 HP. Kalen's gonna shut them down. This bomb goes down in the meantime, Jesse. There's only 33 seconds.
Yeah, and you got to work fast here if you're JMU. You got to find 4 kills and get this bomb defused. Not going to be an easy job, and there's a player inside of Tools behind these 2 players trying to push in, and it's going to shoot them down immediately. Just Poker now, left alone, 1v4, can't find it at all, and another beautiful round out of Mars. So Colin, we're talking about this streak, and they don't even need it. 4 rounds now out of 5.
They don't need the streak. They're just winning out their gunfights. I think one thing that James Madison are really losing out on right now is the information game, and it's allowing Mars Hill to kind of walk all over them on the inside of Elisilo. So I need to start seeing a little bit of forward aggression from James Madison to contest for these spots. See if you can shut down Mars Hill and force them back a little bit, slow down the success that they're gaining, and start commanding the map a little bit more, because at the moment, JMU are getting walked on here in map 2, and we're going to need to start turning around soon.
I agree with you completely that you need more map information, but holy, can we get Prey some help as well? 3 kills combined through 5 rounds for his 3 teammates so far here inside of this game. We need to get Prey some help here inside of this map mode combination if they want to find any success in these next couple of rounds here. And you can see a very quick flank here coming in from Marcel, and they've just got them completely trapped now inside of their side.
Well, Poker's going to fight back. Prey's going to get an angle around the back, so that's a nice 2-piece. Poker's going to show up too to the feed like you wanted, Jesse. So a little bit of information there for James Madison to start walking forward, and now they know AG is behind them. So 2 versus 3, looking to trade this out. AG down to 64 HP, and they know he's weak, but nobody's going to go for it. Mazo's starting to work up the map, and as that bomb gets planted on B, looking at Mazo to really open things up.
Ooh, and letting AG get away there could be detrimental, but the map has been completely flipped. JMU, like you said, get that bomb down, but also hold on to the side of the map that you want to actually hold on to keep
Big
them
win.
off of this bomb. And now, just up to AG, left alone here. They know that this player is on their side of the map as well. So, and now the full information comes through. AG will get dropped, and that's a good round from JMU. They looked like they were going to be completely trapped up inside of their top side, and they completely find 2 kills, which just opens up so much of the map for them to be able to get to the offensive side of the map.
Shout out to Proper, too, because he just messaged me. He said, it's not GA, Jesse. So precision airstrike is allowed. Only the SAE is GA. So.
Oh, the SAE, that makes so much more sense, right? It's the
See,
SAE. I'm just confusing streaks together now.
James Madison are able to put another round on the board there, and it looked good. I thought they were a little bit trapped, and they kind of just fought their way out of that. They get the kill to open up the back line. They get the information on AG. As soon as that bomb goes down and Kelp takes control of the hill, they have all the information that they need. And an opening with T-Web, sniper in hand. We saw it in round 1, and it missed its mark, but here in round number 7, it hits it for a first blood.
And now if you're Marcel, you're trying to find a way to get in here. We've seen some great wall bangs the other day in the CDL. We're seeing a few wall bangs come through here, and Kelp will find the kill onto Bezo. And Slapex needs to do some work here through the middle of the map. We'll find one through Kegs, and instantly just going to run through to the flank portion of the map.
Disgusting shots from Slapex. Just burn the head off that player, but Prey's going to get the trade, leaving him all alone. They know he's at B. You're not going to be able to put that bomb down for free. The hunt is on for Slapex. They get the kill, and James Madison slowly but surely, Jesse, crawling their way back here in map 2.
They really are. No, not going down without a fight, right? If you're James Madison University, it wasn't looking good early on, but these last 2 rounds, you've gotten the first blood. You've worked off of that first blood together and found some success off of it. We'll see if they can continue to do so here. And we were talking about the supporting cast. They weren't really doing too much. Only 3 kills through the first, 4 or 5 rounds there. Well, now in these last 2 rounds, 5 more kills combined between those 3 players? Fantastic to see coming through.
T-Web, too, with the sniper feeling a little bit more confident on those opening picks, starting to command the outside of this map, and AG's going to lose their head. Poker's going to find a double off screen, and Slaypeck's the one to go down, and is spelling a little bit of trouble here for Marsil. You're looking at number 7 in a 1v1 on the inside of that B site. Mazo's the one just being a little bit annoying. No, it's going to be Kalen, and Kelp shuts him down, so it's all onto the shoulders of Mazo to continue the success for Marsil. But that's some lovely overwatch from James Madison. They're going to shut him down, and we go even. Elisilo, what a treat.
This whole series so far, what a treat, honestly. I mean, both these teams playing very well against each other, and it feels like right now, James Madison University starting to figure out what the likes of Marsil is doing on the map, now starting to take advantage of it, not allowing them to get too aggressive here, taking advantage of that over-aggression in some ways that we've seen in these last couple of rounds. And now if you're Mars Hill, now it comes down to, can you make the adjustments back? Because James Madison clearly has made adjustments through these last 3 rounds, 3 in a row going their way. If you're Mars Hill here, I think you either go back to that round 1 strat, you start to get really, really even more aggressive, if you will, or you just slow it down and throw something completely different that you haven't shown James Madison yet.
Pray do they know he's already in the back line. So sneaky to get into this position, and Poker draws first blood. So Prey a chance to strike. He's going to get eyes onto a second, and Kalen dropped. 2 versus 4, bomb down. And the information, I'm sure, is going to be worked very soon. They're going to spot out Mazo through Kegs. Prey not able to trade it out. They get their way inside of this, and now Slaypex and Mazo to work shoulder to shoulder with each other, but the door is open, and you allow Prey to see you. And that will not be what you hoped for. 5 rounds for James Madison. What a way to climb back in the series. Chance to take a map off of Mars Hill.
4 rounds in a row. And Colin, we said this was a must-win map, and they're starting to finally show it here. They're like, hey, you know what? I think they think this is a must-win map right now for them as well. They want to see that Hydro map 4. They want to have a chance to be able to go to the map where they've felt the most confident on in terms of their hardpoint and in terms of their respawn and get to that map. All they need to do is win this map here. They get to that 4-0 map for themselves, and now putting themselves on map point. They've got that win condition in hands. They're only 1 round away from being able to take the map here, match point versus Mars Hill. See what they can do here. It's going to be another offensive push here from James Madison. Everybody going to get aggressive, pushing it in through pools. But you can see a brick wall on the other side here from Mars Hill. They know exactly where this bomb is going. But Poker finds first blood.
So many Poker first bloods in the second half of this map. It has been influential to this comeback. Poker, though, gets shredded out. Prey making a lot of noise. Dead Silence is not going to be able to help you out with that. And HE, 2 kills in the round. Going to completely slump JMU. And look for a round 11 play, where we know Mars Hill on this map, they are not strangers to round 11s. T-Web's going to give himself away, looking for 5 in a row. Can't win out the battle to the back line, and that's a Mars Hill. They cauterize the wound for now, Jesse. We're going to a round 11.
And I like that play from T-Web at the end there. I mean, you're trying to find kills to find that streak at the very least, right? You're not too worried about winning the round out at that point of being the 1v3, but being 2 kills off of getting that cruise missile. You're really trying your best to find it there in that round, but unfortunately you don't find it. I think we still have a precision airstrike on the side of Mars Hill. Not sure if we'll see that get used here, as we haven't seen it get used since, what, round 3 when he earned the thing? So we'll see what happens. 5-5, though. Next round wins between these 2 teams, and it is going to be an offense for the likes of Mars Hill.
Right, 13-6. I mean, that is unbelievable. A defensive side for James Madison, and Prey's going to be able to get into this A site. Seems like it's detected. That nade should be able to do some damage. Mazo should be a huge kill if you're able to find it. Shots through the door, not going to land, but Prey's still going to go down. Slaypex gets an angle. Mazo's in a little bit of trouble. And take a look at the flank. Number 5, T-Web has found his way into your backline. He has no idea. T-Web now has attack. And he's looking for a little bit more, but Mazo says no. 3 versus 1. You had it on your hands, but it has fallen to the wayside. James Madison a chance to take a map off of Mars Hill, and now everything laying on the shoulders of Poker. The bomb is down. 1 versus 3. And there's just no way you're going to get on the inside of this map. So Mars Hill, they box him out. They take him down, and they stay undefeated so far.
Oh, man, JMU, so close, but so far away there inside of that final round. They got what they needed to do. They pushed up into the site. Just unfortunately, Prey falls. If Prey finds one there to slow that initial push down on Mars Hill, maybe you have a chance at going for the retake there. We've seen them retake that site a few times throughout the game itself, but just unfortunately, they sniff out Prey immediately there in that spot. Some really good shots coming from Kegs to kind of distract Prey as well, to look at the door maybe, and allowing the player coming from the defensive side of the map, or sorry, the offensive side of the map, to push through immediately and get into that powerful position to kill Prey, who is sitting at lockers there. Very, very unfortunate. Well, I'm sure we'll see it again here in our replays as we go through. But I mean, Cole, what a map, man. I mean, Mars Hill, a very good start. Rough, kind of shaky middle of the map there, but they get the job done. They are looking very icy through the series so far.
And I'm surprised that, you have Tack on the flank, or sorry, not Tack on the flank, you have T-Web on the flank. I'm surprised Prey goes for that play towards the A side and they didn't just play for a retake, because that was an opportunity to take a map off of Mars Hill and you let it slip through your fingers. Ice for Mars Hill, I mean, sometimes you just can't teach it. I said they're not strangers to round 11s on this map, and they just show that they know how to handle themselves when the going gets tough. So looking throughout this, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, what a lovely start from Mars Hill to this map. Did get a little bit shaky, but, in the end, they were able to get that job done. And you can really thank AG for that, because towards those last couple of rounds, AG was getting the better of poker. He was getting the better of Prey. He was always shutting down some of those lanes. And a really big play from AG towards the end of that. It finishes in 7 and 8. Not the prettiest stat line, but some of those kills were pretty big.
Yeah, especially round 10, right? I mean, when AG had that player, Mars Hill went down, right? They were down 4-3 in lives. AG finds one, not just one, but also pushes back to the back and finds that massive one-on-one versus Prey, who was getting very aggressive through patio, finds the kill. And as soon as they get the 3v2 there, that's when Mars Hill really closes that round out to give themselves the chance at even getting to round 11 there. If he loses that gunfight, you're pretty much trapped in sight. You've got a 3v2 going the other way. Would have been much harder. So you're right, AG's kills very influential on the map there, especially in that round number 10, and probably the reason why they have an opportunity at winning this map, and let alone walking away with the victory.
It seems like Spring Break has been very kind to these players, Jesse. I mean, this Mars Hill Esports roster, I knew they were good, but AG and Mazo is a little bit worried about them going into this match versus JMU, but they have been the highlights to this matchup against James Madison. I think, when you look at those two players, they've had an incredible map 1 and an incredible map 2, and now for James Madison, when you thought this was going to go 1-1 in the series, when you thought you were going to be able to have that, I guess that change up to the control, force that hydro map number 4, now you have to do it in a reverse sweep fashion. Jesse, that is just not where you want to be if you're James Madison. But hey, we got a hotel control coming up next, a little bit of a break in between. We'll see you on the other side with more College COD. Welcome back to the stream, you lovely viewers. We're here with some more College COD. And our match number 1 of the day, we got Mars Hill, James Madison. Mars Hill leading 2-0 after a round 11 search and destroy on El Asilo. Jesse, when we take a look at our maps and modes throughout this series, we only have a potential reverse sweep if James Madison wants to win. And it's got to start this hotel control coming up next. And I know we were talking about it a little bit. One team a little bit more experienced than the other. Surprisingly, it's Mars Hill this time.
Yeah, both teams haven't really had too much experience on hotel control yet here throughout the season for College COD. But when you look at the likes of JMU, no maps played here on hotel control. Mars Hill sitting at 1-0 on the map mode combination. Like we said, though, you know what? The kind of the later you go into the series, this is when you get a little bit more dangerous for the likes of James Madison University. That Hydro hardpoint, 4-0 on that. You haven't seen Mars Hill play that one yet inside of College COD yet. So that could be a really good map for James Madison University, but we got to get there. This hotel control going to be a very, very tough one to be able to come away with the map victory, I think, here for James Madison University. This is another one of those maps where if you control the spawns and you control the way that the other team can really push towards a site, this is one of those maps where you can really, really dominate, and James Madison needs to be careful to not allow Mars Hill to get really into those dominating positions to shut you down.
And I was saying, this is one of my favorite control maps that we have in Modern Warfare 2. Why? Because unlike past iterations of Control, this is a very offensive-sided map. I'm sure that the numbers have been a little bit more even as the game has evolved, but the fact that the numbers are close to even when it comes to offensive side to defensive side, it makes me love it so much. The opportunities that we have for this going to round 5, the opportunities we have throughout the middle portions of the series. I mean, this is probably in my own preference the best map we have to go to for a control.
I'm right there with you as well. And I mean, hey, call it. It's no fortress, right? We're not just going to see defense. It's going to be back and forth here between the two teams. A little bit of offense here, maybe a defensive one there. But I mean, I'm right there with you. I actually think this might be one of my favorite control maps ever in Call of Duty. I think maybe when you look at back to Black Ops 4, maybe that's when I might see a few maps that may have played better than this. But this map mode combination in general, really enjoy it. You get a lot of both teams having an opportunity to win both offense and defense, and it really comes down to who clutches up in a lot of those situations. And very likely, more often than not, you get really close rounds, especially towards the end of the rounds, and that's why I enjoy this map so much. I think that's why a lot of the viewers enjoy watching Hotel Control so much as well, and hopefully Hotel Control here to stay for the rest of the season, because it's probably, like you said, the best control map that we've got so far.
What maps? I'm trying to think what maps we had in BO4 for control. We got Frequency, Seaside,
Arsenal.
Oh my goodness, Arsenal control was such a
Arsenal
blast.
control with the Tempest, Dashy going crazy. Good times.
Good times. Optimate you're coming up this weekend too. Can't wait for that one. Gridlock too. Thank you, Sport, for letting us. So what a great
game.
What a great game that was. But to kind of focus back into what we have right now, I think luckily for James Madison, what you have going for you is T-Web and Prey have been unbelievable throughout this series, really kind of leading the way as you would expect for James Madison. The only thing is Kelp and Poker. Poker was a big part for why they were able to bring it to map point back on that LSELO Search and Destroy, finding so many First Bloods. But there's still that respawn factor that hasn't really been there for this James Madison team. When you look at Kelp and Poker, they've been a little bit inconsistent for the side of James Madison, and we saw it in the hard point. Both of them had like 17, 19 kills and 30 plus deaths. So I think if you're looking at anybody in this game for James Madison to turn up, turn things around, and lead you to a map victory, you're looking at Poker and Kelp to start coming alive.
I will say one thing for sure, too. You bring up a great point from that map one, and that's the amount of deaths that they had. You cannot have that amount of deaths here inside of Control because you're limited to 30 lives per round, right? And I know I'm speaking absolute, common sense right now when it comes to Control, but I mean, I think that's a great point to bring up, and the fact that we really they need to make sure that they're holding their lives a little bit better here. You don't have the same amount of lives to just kind of throw away in this game mode.
Masa's going to open up with the first blood. Slaypex is going to give Caitlyn a little bit of a route, and they open up that B zone so quick to contention. They're going to hop on, start getting some of this progress in the segment for the first time. You have Mazo watching the middle of the map, AG on the crossfire. Caitlyn's pushed up all the way into your spawn. I mean, there's no way back in if you're James Madison right now. This is going fast, and this might be a little bit of a jock it up, go next.
Yeah, and if you are the likes of JMU here, you're really just trying to play for exits right now. You want to make sure that you just don't allow these players to slip the line here. Don't let them get too comfortable. Slaypex will pop that dead silence and actually just going to cross right back over into bottom bedroom. But you can see Prey will find one exit. T-Web finds the second. So they're at least able to stop them from being able to make that easy rotation over towards A. But now all the players actually going to spawn up, even with player 6 in that pushed up forward position here. And now everybody here on the side of Marcel has an opportunity to rotate over to A.
And he's going to spawn them up in kitchen, so that quick engagement from Marcel slowed down by the fact that flank was on their tail. And still spawning in kitchen was player number 1. They might not read that praise on the flank. 4 in a row, by the way. Jesse Cruise missile still very well on the table for this player. Last one's going to be in the front. Prey drop shot. Snaps the second one, playing around 1. Player from Marcel going to hop onto that zone. Stopping this time at minute 30. They know Prey's still back here. They're finally going to shut him down, and all eyes on the zone now. Poker needs to go big.
Oh, and he'll get some help as well through middle of the map. Kelp able to at least get one player there. And Poker just really trying to snake their side of Restaurant. Unfortunately, not able to find it. And now this is where things get really scary here. You will get 2 kills, at least to go the way of James Madison. Only AG going to be left alive on the point.
At least, if you're James Madison, you might give up a few ticks here, but you want the round to win, no matter what it costs. At the end of this one, AG is going to get cleaned up throughout. Shandy Mazzo's going to find a trade, but that's 3 down to the feed in favor of James Madison. They take back control of this A zone. Only one more player to worry about is Slapex, just trying to be a nuisance around Wine. Finally, Prey's going to get the better of him. Look for a little bit more towards those respawns. The second one for Prey, slipping towards that kitchen. They had to be careful for the flank again, and the stun check, it's going to be there, but Prey doesn't care. He doesn't care whatever you throw at him. He's ready for it.
This is a map where normally if you're able to get one break onto A, you can find some success, but it's going to be a lot harder now to get that one break here for the likes of Marcel. Only 6 lives left, only 30 seconds left here for the team, and all 4 players from JMU in and around this point just holding things down.
It's a big turnaround right now from James Madison. Only 20 seconds left. Slapex going to be the one to open this one up. Shoots a little bit too early. It's going to give away that there is a player on the flank. Down to 12 seconds, and Prey and Kelp, they're the ones to really spell trouble for Slapex. The collapse back into the zone. Kelp's going to shut him down. 9 seconds left. The respawns from Marcel. I don't know if they're going to be able to reach that in time. So James Madison, although a very slow start to this map 3, a round win. I mean, you'll take it.
A round win, only giving up 4 points on offense. I mean, that's definitely not too bad there. And they walk away with a 10-1 life advantage at the end of that round as well. So, I mean, you know how sometimes control can be, right? Where you're tied on points, you go to the very end, and you need those extra couple kills to secure yourself that final defense, Colin. They're going to feel good about that. That's an extra 9 kills going to your favor already. I know we don't really count kills like the way we were doing at like the start of Vanguard when that's what determined, but that's still a big swing, right? That can definitely help swing things towards the later half of this game if we do end up tying up on ticks. But you know what? We'll just keep that in the back of our mind here. Have to see what JMU can do on their offense now on hotel control. And it's going to be a very quick push over towards B. We've seen a very similar push here from Mars Hill off the rip of the game over towards this B zone. It's going to be Kelp to hop onto the point, but very quickly going to get shut down from the air. It's in the middle of the map.
That's good middle map control from Marcel. Not going to allow James Madison to get onto that B zone like they were able to back in the first round, but back to the drawing board, back to step 1 for James Madison. Have to play a little bit of TDM before they get onto either the A zone or the B zone. And 3 players spot up to kitchen, so Slapex, if you're not careful, you're going to get overwhelmed, and this is a chance for JMU to start getting some segments on the board.
And I mean, personally, I feel like sometimes A is easier to cap first than just have 2 minutes to kind of work your way over towards B, because eventually you can spawn the players out towards Shandy in the later portions of these rounds. But 2 players still here trying not to give it up. A Kelp will pop too. That's the 8-point secure, and this is now a very good opportunity to fly forward. One player they really need to focus on, though, got to get AG out of top bedroom.
They do. Prey. Right now, he's on the case. Player through catwalk. Eventually, you think AG's going to go down, and he will, but there's a glimmer of hope in my eyes, Jesse, and I thought maybe just AG was about to pop off, but Slapex now looking to run a route all the way through Wine. Over towards B. Mazzo shutting them down. He's got Kalen on his wing, too. This is making it really hard for James Madison to really get any real estate towards B. Look at the lives, too, Jesse. I mean, there's a minute 11, but 22-16. And again, Slapex now is going to be top patio. There's nowhere to go right now if you're James Madison. You need to slay out a little bit better.
Oh, Mazzo's being so annoying right now. Just going from head glitch to head glitch, hit the God Heady a little bit, and just really being annoying here. Now you've got bottom control as well if you're AG. And look at those lives, Colin. 13 lives only remaining, so a 9-life lead here for Marcel inside of the round. At least you get a kill through admin desk, and now you can start to make your push forward. Prey finds one. Kelp and Poker also on the rotation through. It's really going to be about getting these players out of your spawn, though.
Yeah, the big setup with the players towards bedroom. To be AG down low to open things up on a Poker. Now, JMU, 25 seconds. They're going to have to start collapsing together, and they're losing lives left, right, and center. Slapex through the middle of the map is going to get rid of T-Web. Closest player towards B. Kelp shut down in top bedroom. Slapex now looking to cement himself in the backside of James Madison. And only 10 seconds left. I mean, it just seems like, Jesse, there's no time, there's no lives, no resources to make this happen. If you're James Madison, you need something magical in the round if you want this offense to go your way, and it's just not there at all. Slapex on 5 in a row. Kelp gets shut down. And Mars Hill, they bounce right back.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely do bounce back. And Colin, did they only allowed what, the 3 ticks over towards the restaurant, right? Nothing over here. So they do end up leading in the tick battle at the end of the first 2 rounds here, 4-3. So just keep that again in the back of our minds if we do end up going all the way to that round number 5. But a good round, like you said, a much needed bounce back round there from Mars Hill. And I'm very interested to see here if Mars Hill opts to go for B right off the rip again and to make the transition over towards A, because usually that is the easier way to go about it, right? Because if you break into A once, it's usually so easy just to make the push through, spawn the players out over towards the B side of the map usually, and be able to walk away with the round victory. But they weren't able to do so in that first round.
AG again, just knocking on the door of this B zone so fast. JMU struggling to get their ARs in a position to slow down Mars Hill. Poker's going to have the answer back to the middle of the map, and you see working alongside Prey to hopefully break. Help up top. AG's going to get the better of him. T-Web also falls, so it's going to be all onto the shoulders of Prey to make a play on the inside of the B zone, and not going to be enough. Mazo's going to walk out on top. That second segment should be locked in.
And you can see Marcel just going to continue just working with what we've seen them doing so far here in this game, where they go towards B off the rip, they find success over at B, and Mazo with another massive one-on-one victory here over at the B zone. You can see Kelp trying to make a quick push in through. Couch is going to get dropped as well. Just Prey left now up in top bedroom. That is B, fully secure. The exact same game plan here for Marcel. It takes a few more lives this time to get it done, but now 2 minutes left on the clock if you're going to start to work your way over towards A.
You have to kind of take a page out of that round 1 right now if you're JMU, because that B zone being gone so fast, it's going to make it so hard to win this round yet again. You know they've done it before, though, so confidence should not be gone just yet from the Bulldogs. It's T-Web, a stack inside of Freezer alongside Kelp. Watching for the oncoming players from Mars Hill. Player working around the flanks, going to be Slaypex to kind of thwart this whole setup. But T-Web's going to strike first into Kaylin. Quick trade from Mazo. T-Web's going to drop as well, and now Slaypex, this is his time to shine.
That's a big 2 kills. You have your opportunity now to push up, but the same exact player who made the break last time through the back, going to pop Deddy, try to be annoying here again. But they haven't seen Prey yet, so at some point you got to turn around, start to counter players, but Prey on the back line finds 2 in the hill. Once again, can he find the third? Unfortunately not, but the teammates should be there for the cleanup, and they are. Only 1 tick of progress on A once again, Colin.
You'd think eventually they'd learn, Jesse, that Prey's just always on the flank. 21 and 14, doing everything that he can to keep his team alive inside of the series. Poker gonna push through Kitchen, almost finds a second onto Mazo, and still Mars Hill trying to hold on to whatever they have throughout the series. Player number 1 now on the flank. AG trying to work the backline. Prey again gonna slip into Kitchen. I want to say undetected, but it seems like a couple of these players are gonna know right to the face. Mazo, a little bit of a wake-up call there. Mars Hill back to the respawns. 30 seconds left. Life advantage to James Madison, and Prey, he's not done yet. 4 in a row.
And still on the hunt here. Again, nobody turning around. Prey in the backline finds another player over towards this A zone. Slaypex tries to make his way into Kitchen, but you got Kelp there as well. 3 lives only now remaining here for Marcel, and I cannot see a way where they find their way onto this point and win this round unless AG does something completely massive in the backline.
I mean, AG has a cruise missile. I didn't even see when he got this, but...
It was last round.
Okay, thank you. But Prey, 6 in a row for himself. On pace for his first kill streak for JMU as well. They deny that last tick of progression, so around again to James Madison. But Jesse, it's at what cost? Now it's the hard part.
Oh.
Can you win an offensive round? Because at the moment, if you don't win this offensive round, you're gonna have to try again in round 5.
Yeah, you're at that point, right, where it could end up coming down to kills who ends up getting the final defense. If they end up getting 5 ticks of progression here, it will end up tying us up at 8-8 in terms of ticks here. So like you said, kind of need to win the whole round out here if you want a chance to walk away without having to go into another offense in the final round here. But we'll see what they can do. Prey right off the rip, going to take a gunfight through the middle of the map, not walking away with the round with that first opening kill. But a very quick opening from Mars Hill here as they find 3 kills in a row right off the start and already looking to pressure the JMU players as they rotate over towards A.
Also able to find 2 towards A. It's going to leave Kelp all alone, and quick response to the Kitchen should allow for some reinforcements early. The trophy's going to be thrown down. Everything that you need to secure the zone. But here comes the reinforcements from the other side. Marcel leading the way. AG gets a big double kill to break things open. T-Web laying prone. Gonna try his best to hold on, and that is good enough to get you back into the zone. But can you capture it? Here comes Prey to help you out. And that might be the A zone gone by way of T-Web.
Yeah, and it looks like they're just chalking it. I don't blame them. You want to try to get players now set up inside of top bedroom, bottom bedroom, maybe even in towards the back of luggage if you can, because you're just going to come off spawn in towards the back of your spawn here, and you can see everybody now on JMU. Going to start to try to make their way through middle of the map. You've got one player in Statue, Poker, trying to push their way through Shandy, but you got two players in the back line here, completely set up and ready for it for Mars Hill, and they've shut things down, and they've got bedroom control. This is looking like a really good setup over towards B. Going to be tough to break.
A little puzzle right now at the moment, Jesse. A minute 30. It's a time trial. Can you clear out top bedroom? Once you clear out top bedroom, get onto the zone. Force your way into D1, D2. Try to push back the line of scrimmage for Mars Hill. And Kelp going to be the one to try through Statue. Early shot down from AG. Second one of the drop shot. He gets the better of Prey. 1 minute 13. 24 lives to 15. And AG, he still has this cruise missile if they need it.
Absolutely do. And can't win that gunfight through middle of the map. Pray with that 9K, man, going absolutely crazy here in this map. But 14 lives again, only remaining here for JMU. They expand so many lives, just trying to get that first ticks of progression over towards B and then failing ultimately and then having to wrap back over towards A. I mean, they'd save themselves a lot of pressure if they just went towards A right off the rip inside of this game here. But you know what? Still trying to make it work. 11 lives left, now 10 as they try to push forward, but still no map control at all here for the likes of JMU Esports.
At least you know you have a second chance if you are JMU, but I'm sure just to feel comfortable, you want to get it done here in round 4. Prey, get on the flank. That's 3 down. That's 4 down. Get in the hill right now, James Madison. This could be it.
Oh, and Prey's in an annoying spot. He can be really, really annoying here in this spot. AG's going to choose to invest the glide bomb here. Can't find anything. Cruise missile runs into the trophy, and now it's really going to be all up to AG. Can't find anything, and this could be the round. This could be the map now going to JMU.
Last chance. Slapex goes down, and James Madison, hello. Welcome to match 1. We've been waiting a long time for this map win today, Jesse. They came so close in the hard points, so close in the search and destroy, but Control, they finally find a way over the hill. And Hotel Control, it was not easy at all, but 3-1, they win it out. And you can thank Prey, 36 and 21. Holy, 28 non-traded kills. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Incredible map 3 from James Madison.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that they gave up B twice and were able to hold on to the A side of the map for so long inside of that game, 2 times, not once, but 2 defensive rounds. Crazy stuff coming in from the JMU boys on the roster. But, Colin, I think really when I look at that, I think that just kind of shows you the differential between those pro teams and kind of AM/college teams, right? Where if you are a pro team and you get a 3 wipe, you are immediately calling out like, hey, where the heck is Prey? Everybody's going to start to turn around. Prey's got to be on the flank. You probably don't get that at this level because we've seen on 2 different offensive sides where we had a full break from Mars Hill into this A zone where they were not able to hold off the likes of JMU because Prey was on the flank with dead silence and pops a 2-piece.
I mean, what an unstoppable force he is at times. You think, okay, right here, for example, the stun through the door, that's exactly what you need. Drop shots. Like, there's no chance there for Slapex in that opportunity. I mean, he is literally just playing you like a fiddle on the flank time and time again. Kelp there, that double kill into the A zone, influential to, you know, securing it in the first time. They're not making it easy for Mars Hill at all in their own offenses, and this is why I love Hotel. Just the amount of options you have on offense to get from site to site or from zone to zone. And I think, you know, JMU, it took them a little bit, but eventually they find the kills necessary, and you get 4 down on B, Jesse, and I mean, you saw how fast that went.
Yeah, and unfortunately the cruise missile doesn't come into effect. I did see something the other day where if you smack the cruise whistle off the wall, it doesn't come into full effect with the trophy system. So maybe trying to do that there in that spot, but unfortunately still not able to find the kills, and the trophy system still eating up that cruise missile there in that situation. And Marcel, I mean, yeah, they just could not come away with it. Usually throughout the series have been the icier of the two teams, but in this map mode combination, JMU just walks away with the victory. And Colin, that leaves me really excited because we get to see that map number 4 that we were so excited about looking through the early portions of this. And when you look at this map 4 coming up, JMU, this is their best map mode combination, 4-0 on Hydro Hardpoint, and now they get to go to their best map.
If you at first you don't succeed, try again. And James Madison, they never give up at all. And you can really tip it to them for never giving up throughout this series, because there's so many times in that control that Mars Hill could have won an offense. Mars Hill could have dominated you, but Prey just does not want to give up at all. Just look at those stats, Jesse. Look how skewed it is for James Madison. 18 kills for both Kelp and Poker, 17 kills for T-Web. Not the best map for those three, but the fact that, Prey was able to do what he was doing so often throughout the control, it's almost the exact same as what Mars Hill were doing back in their map 1 when Slaypex wasn't really showing up. It's just Prey was doing enough for as long as he did that it gave time for Kelp, Poker, and T-Web to get into a position to finally find success. And once they did, James Madison, they got over the hill.
Very similar to map number 2 as well, right? When Prey was really starting to pop off, and then you started to get the supporting cast from Kelp, Poker, and T-Web starting to really play up to a little bit higher standards. If they can just go good enough, Prey has the ability to bring this team over that next level. I mean, look at the damage, Colin. I don't know 100% of these damage numbers and everything are all correct, because, sometimes we do get the stat glitches, but I mean, almost 1,000 damage around here from Prey. That looks about right from what we were seeing through that game. The fact the player dropped almost 40 kills inside of that game there. JMU, I mean, very, very impressed with this team to see them come out, win that round out. And Colin, I have a feeling we are going to see this team in the high half of the top 10 very shortly.
Yeah, I mean, we said it at the top of the show, no one had this team on their cards to round out the top echelon of this division, but here they are, James Madison, and they just took a map off our number 5 power ranking team in College COD going into week number 4. I mean, Mars Hill, by all means, I'm saying this still team that I have not been convinced that they haven't been in control throughout this whole series, but a little bit of a slip up there, and who knows what James Madison are going to bring up next, because like you've been alluding to, Jesse, we've been waiting for this map 4 Hydro, 4-0 on Hydro, a hard point. This could be where James Madison really turn it around, and if this goes to a Game 5, we've seen James Madison in those Game 5s. This is the first time that we're seeing Mars Hill go to a Game 4.
That's true. That is very, very true. This is the first time. This uncharted territory for this Mars Hill roster. Do they have the ice to be able to clutch up as they go deeper into a series? We'll just have to wait to find out as this series goes along. But this map, like we said, should be very good for JMU. We haven't seen Mars Hill on it, so we really don't know whether or not Mars Hill is going to come out and look really, really good on this map, if they're going to come out and look not as good as the reps that you see on the side of JMU. I think we're going to be in for a really good map again here, because let's not forget what happened inside of map number 1 if you're just joining us. That score line looked a lot bigger than that map really was. It was 2 very close rotations where Mars Hill at the end of the second set finally started to get some map control and really just dominated the third set of rotations from P1 to P2 to close that game out. If that doesn't happen, that game very likely could have even gone down to the clock. It was getting that dang close because there was so much contestation time and such a close map through the first 2 sets between these two teams. So I'm very excited for the Zarqwa map.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at the stats for that hard point, even though it was like, 250 to 169, that was dead even going to the third set of rotations. That's not until then that we saw Mars Hill really turn it around. And if you look at Hydro and the way it works, Jesse, it's a very rotational map. And if James Madison can kind of replicate what they did in map 1, start getting the better of the rotations over Mars Hill, you can start to see, maybe they can be the team that sends us to a map 5 today. I think if there's one thing that's for sure, you need your supporting cast to do what they did in that game number 1, because even though Kelp and Poker weren't having the best stats in that game number 1, it was more than just the stats of what they were doing. It was those rotation battles. Kelp was winning the rotations, Poker was working the rotations alongside him, and they were getting the job done when it was necessary. So if Kelp and Poker can, still stay afloat in this map number 4, allow Prey to just roam freely and slay out at his own will, that's how we're going to see a James Madison win today.
I agree. But on the flip side, how we're going to see a Mars Hill victory here, I think that Mars Hill needs to answer back for what they were doing poorly in that map, number one. Because even with a victory, there were some really shaky spots in terms of their rotations, right? James Madison, like you said, kind of dominated the early portion of that game, especially the rotations. When you're thinking particularly the first set of rotations to P3, to the Fountain Hill, to P4, back inside of cannons, they were doing a much better job. That's where they found a good chunk of their time. If Mars Hill allows that to happen again here, going towards P2, going in towards P3, two hills where that you can find a good chunk of time on, even back to P4, again, on the right-hand side of the map. If they allow JMU to get early setups there, this team has the potential to be able to set up and hold on to those back spawns, because it is very tough to break those back spawns. Mars Hill needs to be better on their rotations if they want to win this map number 3 and close this out in 4.
No doubt at all. But folks, it seems like we're having a little bit of an issue getting these players into the lobby for this map number 4, so we're going to give you a little bit of a break. We're going to throw it to a break, and when we come back, we're going to have this Hydro hardpoint ready to go. We'll see you there. Welcome back, everybody, to some more College COD. We're back into our match with James Madison and Mars Hill going head-to-head in a map number 4 now. Mars Hill takes their first map loss of the season. 4 weeks in, Jesse. Pretty incredible, but that's going to bring us into a Hydro hardpoint. We're stepping into James Madison's territory.
We absolutely are. If you guys haven't, kind of been with us the whole run of the way through yet, give you a little bit of a kind of refresher. JMU going into this map number 4, Hydro hardpoint. They're 4-0. They look really, really good on this map mode combination. And you know what? We said they needed to win what we thought was going to be map 2, 4, and 5 if they were going to take this series against JMU. I wasn't feeling the control too much for them here, but you know what? They got the job done on that hotel control. The 3-1 victory over the likes of Mars Hill. Now we head here into map number 4, and like you said, into their territory. This is where they felt the most comfortable this entire season so far.
It's a tongue twister. We got the Hydro high point right now going on, Jesse. Almost slipped me up a little bit early too, almost saying that. But we got our map number 4. Mars Hill trying to stay perfect in their hard points. They dropped the control. They faltered a little bit. James Madison pushed them all the way to the edge for a map number 5. P number 1, a little bit contested, what you normally expect. Nobody's been able to flip out the spawns for James Madison, get in behind. Mars Hill have been really good at shutting down these lanes. They're going to give up a little bit of time here, but ultimately they really want this P2 and T-Web. T-Web might just get an opening now.
I mean, they may as well have won this P1 as well. But yeah, like you said, JMU actually, they're going to force the issue. Everybody pushes forward. Mazzo, the only player here that can make a difference and make a difference, they will. They drop 2 in the back, but now Prey and T-Web from the front have an opportunity still to be able to get a little bit of time. You got to win your ones here.
Slaypex spawns out. You get a split spawn for Mars Hill. You still have HE in the back, just holding down those spawns. Hopefully allowing the rest of the team to spawn up on you. T-Web's going to get a kill with the trophy system. Prey hops into the hill, keeps time, pushing in favor of James Madison. An excellent P2 rotation for JMU. They might not get it right away, but eventually they break, and now Prey 4 in a row. Doesn't seem like he's going to have a chance for number 5 unless Kalen dips his toes into the ceiling with the last 15 seconds. Prey, he's going to have the read, but won't be able to get any shots on.
And there we go. Mars Hill, they'll get the break at the very end, so only going to get a few seconds there. What a fantastic break from JMU at the very start of that hill. They find one, and they just do just enough to keep themselves pushing through. And now they've actually got the rotational battle. One here, over towards P3. Kalen's going to try to make a push in through the top side of the hill. But you can see a great-looking setup here, as you've got player number 1, T-Web, anchoring all the way in the back of the spawn as well. That should stop Mars Hill from being able to rotate and spawn in the back.
Calp loses the fighting cubby, but Prey and Poker are going to maintain control for Mars Hill. 2 back-to-back rotations in favor of James Madison. Prey's going to get sniffed out in the staircase, and Mars Hill, they need to break soon. There's 31 seconds still to gain, and they can't even touch this hardpoint with a 10-foot pole at the moment, Jesse. Kelp now looking to force the issue up top. Nice shots onto Kalen, and Poker's able to back him up, so spawns all the way out for Mars Hill. It's a good time for James Madison. Their lead keeps growing.
And if you're Mars Hill here, you need to just set up a line across middle map here, and you cannot let anybody on JMU slip the line here. So far, you know, it's so good. They found a few. You do get one player to spawn out. That does happen, though, on this hill because of the old hill still being active. You spawn out at old here. But with the new hill popping, you've got player 5 all the way in the back. You should get a spawn in the back, but no, I guess player 3 and 4 push up just far enough to block that spawn, but you still do have initial control here from Mars Hill.
It's going to be an absolute bloodbath, but all balloon defeat so far. Slaypac's going to read poker, and that should shut things down right away. Now Marseille going to slowly claw their way back into this hard point with this P4 setup. James Madison spawning all the way back P5 too. Look how far AG is pushed up, and with that anchor from player number 5, Slaypex, James Madison they're so far away from getting into this hill, Jesse.
A much better hill than what we saw in the P2 rotation, right? I mean, just doing a much better job of holding down the lines, not allowing anybody on the likes of JMU to slip through. And JMU with 15 seconds left to say, hey, you know what, GG's, you guys did it. You guys held a hill from us, and you guys finally out-rotated us on one of these hills here. Mars Hill will be the first team to, you know, kind of start to bring this one back, but JMU the first team now inside of P5. And they're going to look to do the exact same thing here now to Mars Hill, just keep shutting them down as they try to rotate it.
T-Web's going to peek out from up top. I'm going to cut off one from the rotation. 11-5, by the way, T-Web. I mean, you look to your ARs to really pop off on this map, and T-Web has been so good. Incredible shots there. And JMU still trying to hold from the inside out. T-Web now going to hop up top on the rails and continue to find kills in the inside of this zone. 5 streak for T-Web, looking for 6. 1 HP, not going to be able to get his gun up in time to fight Kalen, but here comes Kelp to help, and back into the hill we go for both teams. James Madison, that lead that they lost back on P4, they're starting to get it back again. 116-77, still 20 points to fight for.
It took Mars Hill 30 seconds to get across middle map and finally get a toe inside of this hill. And you know what? They are earning pretty much the remainder of the time here of that back 30 seconds there. You know, maybe a contest here and there, but for the most part, a very good back 30 in this 5th and final hill. Now we go back to P1, though. It's about a 20-point lead here for James Madison University. They can still hold this off. They can still walk away with this one. You look at the right side of the map, though, you do still have all the Mars Hill players spawning up on the side they prefer, but it took, what, 5 seconds left of P1 in the last set of rotations for the likes of JMU to break this, so this is definitely not over yet in terms of rotations.
Yeah, I mean, James Madison, you see why they're 4-0 on this hard point. They are ruthless. Prey still undetected through the water. Nice read from Slaypex. Almost snaps over to poker. Kalen going to maintain control from Mars Hill. These are 20 points that you'd love to soak up. Fortunately for Kalen, he's going to get overwhelmed by Kelp on the inside. Everybody's still spawning on one side for James Madison, Jesse, but if you reflect back to the first rotations, how easy it was for James Madison to break that P2, nothing's ever safe on this rotation.
No, absolutely. We'll see what they can do here. They do need to try to find a few kills before this next hill pops, with everybody pushing forward if they want to spawn anybody out here. Because now, as soon as this pops with the positioning that you have from the Mars Hill players, everybody will just be spawning the back. You need to break from the front now if you're JMU.
And break from the front, they're going to try their best, but
easier,
a lot better. Yeah, a lot better looking from Mars Hill, I'd say, as Slaypex not really giving T-Web anything to work with. No shoulders being thrown. This is support, just making sure you lock down these lanes. You don't allow anybody to really touch. Into this hard point. This 3 down for JMU. Yet again, poker's going to get sniffed out, and a perfect hard point for Mars Hill. They even flip out the spawns.
A perfect timing of the flip, too. The back 30 seconds is the exact time you want to start to flip these out. Yeah, you might lose out on a little bit of time here going to the likes of JMU, but when you look at the other side of the map, Mars Hill now has an opportunity to get a full setup, and Mazzo still pushing the front, trying to get inside of the next hill. It does not matter, though. You look across, you've got AG set up watching the water. You look all the way to the back, you got Slaypex set up. Slaypex will end up falling, though, so now Poker has an opportunity to break the back here at the very least if you're James Madison. Well, Slaypex spawns right back up there, though.
Poker doesn't know. Oh, and Slaypex opens it up. Now it's all going to be on Prey's shoulders to make a play, and he does. Double kill for Prey to keep things at least in some semblance of control, but he's going to get some horrible timing onto Kalen, who jumps right over his head, leaps into the hill. Now it's Kelp's turn, but as soon as he drops down, he's going to be shut down. Very back and forth, very scrappy on this rotation. Mars Hill have brought this back, 147 to 145, and nobody finding kills anymore for James Madison. Kelp, 2 HP on the inside. Has to be careful with all these players from Mars Hill just all around. Caitlin's going to shut him down now. Marcel trying to get into this hill. Prey's going to be closed out. T-Web barely holding on to his life. Shot's going to be ring out. T-Web's going to get a kill on the inside of T-Web. What a shot there. 10 seconds to keep the lead for JMU, but a thin margin.
And Prey finally having a little bit of a struggle map here in the series. Has had 3 really good maps up until this point. But, you know, slowing down a little bit here. But T-Web absolutely picking up the slack here. Mazzo is actually going to choose to invest the streak. Will find Prey through middle of the map. Should be able to call the rest of these players out as they are rotating through the back line. But it's actually just going to be Slaypex in the back now. Slaypex needs to go massive.
Oh, and he does. I mean, that's twice in a row on these rotations. That Slaypex is the one holding it down. You recall how much time Martial were able to get on P4 last rotation, and now it's their time to heat up and completely flip the script and look to tuck JMU in bed and say good night. Because their respawns look incredible, Jesse. 174, they keep on gaining this lead. You need this P5 rotation to be everything.
And this is starting to feel like the first significant lead that we've had for Mars Hill inside of this map number 4. They now have this built up. If they hold on to the remainder of this time, it's going to be about a 40-point lead as we head into P5 for the second time here. Carlin will get spotted out on the side here as a couple nades and stuns do come through. They'll sniff that player out. If you're JMU here, you're looking to get another really good hold and send us back to a third set of rotations.
James Madison a little bit nervous at the moment. Kelp only going to win one on the inside. T-Web going to stay alive in the back, but a spawn up for Mazzo, and I don't think he's going to read this. The cleanup from T-Web, and now all eyes on forward. If you're Mars Hill, you can't win this, or you can win this on this hard point, so you're going to need to contest this if you're JMU, and they do. They get in for the moment. They contest it. We are going to go back to another P1, Jesse, but at some point you think if you're James Madison, you need to get into this hill. You need to break, and Mazzo, he's just saying no.
Yeah, you can't win on this hill if you're Mars Hill, but you can get really, really close. I think, right around 4 seconds off of closing this game out. Prey needs to win this one-on-one with Mazzo, and they need to win it now. We'll actually get some help from Poker as well, and Mazzo will drop. AG drops. The remaining time here goes to the likes of JMU, and they have good side spawns right now. It's going to all come down to killing player number 6 underneath Dome at the moment.
Jesse, I don't want to say it.
Well, they didn't get him.
It's got to be perfect, Jesse, but it's just not at all. Mistakes everywhere for James Madison and Mars Hill, where they were down by a large margin. Now they're leading to a map 4 victory. 2:43 counting, only 6 seconds left. Nobody going to be able to touch for James Madison. And Mars Hill, they're going to hand them their first loss on Hydro and win this series in 4.
250, 173 finish. Actually a closer game than our map number 1 was. But at the end of the day, the same exact outcome comes through. A close match, and watching these two teams play hardpoint is a whole lot of fun. But at the end of the day, Mars Hill, they just got that dog in them. And they come out with the victory at the very end. 250, 173 finish for themselves, and a really, really good finish there.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Usually, Jesse, it's rare to see lightning strike twice, but we saw it this series, both in Hardpoint 1 and Hardpoint 2. I mean, James Madison, they look good. And, you know, they are moments away from taking a series off of Mars Hill in some of these maps, but it's that last little bit, like you say. I mean, Mars Hill, they just got that dog in them at the end of it, and they're icy, to say the least. So, Mars Hill, I mean, they clutch up in both the first hardpoint, the last hardpoint, the third set of rotations, or even in Hydro, the second set of rotations, just completely dominated by Mars Hill. And that fast start from James Madison, not consistent the whole way through. So, going forward, I mean, when you look back at the series, I mean, you're going to look at this if you're James Madison, you're going to see how winnable this best of 5 really was.
Yeah.
And just you let this small thing slip through your fingertips.
And I think it's a good stepping point, though, for JMU, right? I mean, even though you don't walk away with a series victory, I think you still show a lot of teams that, hey, you know what, we're here to play. We're going to be a consistent, solid top 10 team for a lot of this season. So don't get used to seeing us outside of this top 25 anytime soon, because we are very, very good. And I think they showed that here today. They take a map off of Mars Hill, who is a team that hasn't dropped a map all season. That's a good step number 1. And you know what? Step number 2 is going to be being able to close out some of those closer maps. You lost to Search and Destroy by 1 round. You lost the hard points when it came down to the third set of rotations through both hard points. I mean, that's all good stepping stones if you're looking at this JMU roster, and they definitely have an opportunity to take that step forward. It's just going to be kind of just getting those reps in, keep on playing. They still have another matchup against UONA as well to go up against the University of North America, and when they play that match, it's probably going to be the only other big test for them here inside of this division. The 3 undefeated schools now down to 2 as just Mars Hill and University of North America stand tall.
And I cannot wait to see either the Mars Hill versus Dragons matchup or the James Madison versus Dragons matchup, because what a series that's going to be when we get down to it. Couple highlights in the scoreboard. Mars Hill especially, I have to give my flowers over to Mazo and AG because, I mean, yeah, we got those pop-off moments from Kalen in map number 2 and even in map number 1, but consistency from Mazo, consistency from AG, really what leads this team to a win today throughout this best of 5. Yeah, you lose out on that hard point or that hotel control map 3. But even still, I mean, if it wasn't for Prey, this may have just been a 3-0 series for you from Mars Hill, and they do look like they belong in that top 4 or top 5.
They absolutely do. And Colin, you know who really impressed me in this series? I know you were kind of talking about who impressed you, but Kalen, especially for me, honestly. I mean, we were kind of looking at the players on this team and who we thought were going to be like big talking points for us coming into today, and Kalen played phenomenal today through all 4 maps for this Mars Hill roster, looking really good in that main AR role and really just doing a really solid job here for Mars Hill Esports, just to kind of shut things down. You don't allow James Madison to really ever get comfortable on the map in terms of the ARs, and I think that's really where you want a lot of the battles here today, was in that AR battle, because the submachine gun battle definitely was going to the side of Prey in a lot of those situations. Outside of that rough map number 4, which is a hard map to really have a good amount of success on with a submachine gun and Zarqwa. So, I mean, the fact that you shut him down there, it's exactly what you need to do, and Mars Hill closes it out.
And, you know, whenever you don't have Prey, you know, stepping up to the plate like that and outslaying your opponents, T-Web was doing a great job in that main AR role. So I think if you're looking at this for James Madison for some big takeaways individually, at least you have T-Web and Prey. The consistency from them just continues to, you know, impress for this roster. And this VOD, they go back, they fix a few of those things, and I imagine that when they go up against the University of North America, they're going to look a little bit different for James Madison, looking to make some more upsets in this division. But I do want to give a quick little shout out to our sponsor, America's Navy, once again before we start setting up our match number 2, because folks, if you didn't know, the Navy allows you to earn a college education at their expense. When enlisted, you can attend classes while on the ship. The Navy offers world-class training using cutting-edge equipment and technology to prepare enlisted men and women to maximize their potential. And not only that, I mean, we're here celebrating esports, celebrating College COD, and America's Navy, they have Goats and Glory, their esports team. You got people with hobbies, interests, and families in the Navy, and through the community of Goats and Glory, you're able to game with them, participate in their esports teams, and compete on their esports teams. So go look into America's Navy at Navy.com, and maybe that is where you would like to go for your future opportunities. But Jesse, for our future opportunities, we got a match number 2 set up in the books. Queen's University versus Farmingdale State College, and it's looking like it's going to be an exciting one. So let's throw it to a break, get things set up, and we'll see you on the other side, everybody, with more College COD.